Well, hello and welcome back. Not in my reading corner, I'm in front of my TBR shelf. Yes, I do have a physical TBR shelf. I do have a large physical TBR shelf with the 300 books that I do want to read, and like 300 books that I haven't read. Like my whole physical books that I own are TBRs, but this is the selection of books that I want to read in a month. And actually what you can or cannot see behind me are my hauled books in the recurring months. So yeah, I want to add some book love in my apartment, and because I don't keep books, I thought let's create this so I can visually pleasingly see what I want to read all month. Alright, do you want to get into what I actually want to read and why? Alright, so contrary to like a lot of these Booktube videos, you can already see what I want to read, so I'm not gonna make a big secret out of it. I'm just gonna tell you why. So the first book that I want to read is Two Can Keep a Secret on the side there. And this is a newly acquired book, especially for this TBR, because I want to read it for the Booksplosion book of the month, and it actually was in, I think, the Shelf of Reads. So I don't know if I would have bought it just for Booksplosion. I might have, because I do like to follow at least one group read. I'm not going to do any other group reads because I have like narrowed it down to mostly quarterly book reads, and nothing really sparked my interest, or they are reading books that I have already read. But I want to do more buddy reads, and I have quite a few buddy reads. So the first thing that I'm buddy reading with Barbara is More Than This by Patrick Ness. I don't really know anything about it. I received this in a subscription service. This, I think, was the Willoughby, and I do want to read everything that I got from this service rather quickly. So I do like to go blind into my books. Some I know a few things, with others I know nothing. So this I want to go into blind, and I'm going to be buddy reading this with Barbara. Then My Plain Jane, I think it's a Jane Eyre retelling, correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm going to be buddy reading this with Oda. Then I'm going to be buddy reading an ebook. It's called Krone der Dunkelheit. It's a German book with Nayla, Rivers of London in the back there. I think it's like a mystery book. I will be buddy reading this with, oh my god, I forgot. Oh, I'm so sorry. I know we're gonna start like tomorrow, and I have everything set up because I'm actually leaving for London tomorrow. I'm gonna take that book and start reading it there, and I have all my information in there, and I forgot the name of who I'm reading this with. I'm so sorry. Alright, so the next I'm buddy reading is going to be Ash Princess down there. I'm going to be reading Ash Princess with Victoria. I read The Husband's Secret with Victoria, and we were very much of the same opinion about this book in most parts, and you should wait for my wrap-up of my January. I cannot say January. It's time for this month to stop because I cannot say this word. You should watch out for my wrap-up, because I might be ranting about The Husband's Secret, because there were a few things that I was not okay with. And I'm really excited to see how this is going to go and how we're going to like this. I am quite hopeful, because this is like fantasy, and this is like royal themed, and I don't need to know anything else to already know that I'm most likely gonna like it. Then I will be buddy reading Sky in the Deep with Nayla again. My buddy read with Nayla, we read Neverworld Wake in January, and this might have been my favorite buddy read because we were doing like voice messages back and forth, and we were talking so much, and you could really see the emotion. Like, we were sending each other so long, like really long voice messages. And what I really liked is like starting with like, okay, I'm on page 260, and you knew, like, you listened to the first one, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna listen to that when I'm on that page. And it was so much fun reading together, and I'm going to be reading 2 books with her in February, and I am loving it. So let's get it on. Then I just read Scarlet together with Jane, a fellow booktuber. You should definitely check her out. And we just read Scarlet and really enjoyed it. Nothing special to talk about Scarlet. The only thing that I know about Cress is that I think she's like a hacker. It's a Rapunzel retelling, and instead of being like in a tower, she's in a satellite and she wants to escape. And this story is getting better and better. I mean, I already love all the characters. I hope we see a lot of Aiko still. So yeah, or other sassy characters. I would love that as well. So really looking forward to Cress. Then Jane and I are trying to get to Gilded Wolves, which is promised to be a unique book. I think Owlcrate said it's one of the most unique books they found, but from the description saying it's like a few misfits that have to recover like an artifact, and there's like a treasure hunt kind of feel to it. It doesn't sound so unique, so I'm very intrigued to understand why Owlcrate considers this a very unique book concept or whatever. So alone for this, I really do want to read this. I so far have heard rather mixed things from the people that I trust, so this might not get read because of the amount, but I really do want to. Then I am trying to read Renegades. This has been on my list for a while. I really want to get to it, and Renegades is the group book for the Booktube games, Derry, Maine. I decided to go with Derry, Maine simply because I do not feel any allegiance to any of the like countries or whatever, and I wanted to join the minority, and it was the smallest group. And I'm looking forward to reading Renegades. The only other option would have been Girls of Paper and Fire for me, and there was Neverland, and the group was already really big, so I picked Derry, Maine. And I'm really looking forward to this Readathon. It seems to be a little bit different, but it seems to be set up in a way that I can actually meet a lot of people, which I love, and which is why I'm here. So I want to interact with a lot of readers, and I am really looking forward to the Readathon starting. Then I have 2 NetGalley arcs that I want to read, Last Singer and Wake. They're both more like fantasy and shorter books, so I'm really hoping to get through them. And then if you have watched my 2019 goals, I have created like this thing where I have to pick, like I have like my readathon challenges every month. So for my oldest wish list, I went on and deleted 10 items off my wish list. So if I don't pick a book, there's always a consequence. And if I don't read the book, there's always a consequence too. Like unhaul a book if you didn't read it. Then a book that's oldest on my TBR, I picked Cruel Prince. I really do want to get to Cruel Prince. I want to know what the hype is about, and I want to get through the book so I can sell it. To put it bluntly, I do not care for keeping books. I want to get rid of all the books after I read them. So I do read my books once, and then I either sell them or put them in my monthly giveaway. And I have received some good offers for the Cruel Prince. It's the purple Owlcrate edition, and I have received a few good offers, and I would really want to see what I can get when I am actually actively looking. But for this, I first have to read it because that's what I do. A new release is going to count The Two Can Keep a Secret as an old release. So a book that has been released way, way back. One of the oldest released books on my physical TBR is Picnic at Hanging Rock. It sounds like a Picnic at Hanging Rock is like this mystery classic where some girls go missing. I have no idea if I'm going to like it. I might not. It doesn't sound like my typical book. But I should at least try, and if I don't like it, DNF it and unhaul it. Let it go. The next is an above 4.5 rating on Goodreads, and for this I am reading Kingdom of Ash, and yes, I'm reading it this time. I am reading it this month. This time I am really reading it. I am crazy wanting to finish this book, crazy wanting to start this book. I read like 20 pages and I want to know what happens, but the size is a little intimidating, and in January I just couldn't make room on my TBR. My TBR is already so ambitious, and then there comes along a 1,000 pages book. I don't have room for it on my TBR. I know I'm not going to get to it, but I do have to prioritize it this month because I am so eager to know what happens. And there have been so many reactions, and I do not want to get spoiled any more than I already have been. So this is gonna get read. The lowest rating on Goodreads of one of the books that I already own, I'm going to be reading Hexeninternat 2. I have owned this ebook for like ever, and it's only like 115 pages. I'm just gonna end done and see if it's really as bad, and I should just delete it, but I just need to let it go. This is like my theme for 2018, let it go. The most reviewed is also going to be one of the non-YA books, and that is The Alchemist. I received that book from a colleague that I was working with, and he gave it to me as a present after a project, and I haven't gotten around to reading it, and it is time that I do. Non-fantasy, Two Can Keep a Secret can count as that, and progressing in series, Kingdom of Ash, and Crest can count as that. So I fulfill my challenges if I read everything. If I do read everything, I read 6,999 pages in February, which is actually my least ambitious TR in a while. I think. Yeah, like my December TBR was like over 10,000 pages, but I had also time off. But usually my TBRs are more around like 8,000, between 7,000 and 9,000, let's put it that way. So having a TBR at 6,999 pages, it is not 7,000, leaves me at having to read 250 pages a day, which is unrealistic, but I'm hoping the buddy reads will kind of help me get there, because I do read more when I'm like on a buddy read schedule. So yeah, I'm really hoping that this will help getting these things read. And I know that some people say that I put too much pressure on me and that it's taking out fun. And no, this pressure is fun for me. This pressure and this tight schedule is what makes it fun for me. I have 300 books on my shelf over there that I want to get through, and I'm not gonna get through if I'm just not reading on a schedule and just reading 1 or 2 books a month. I'm never gonna get through them. So many books, so little time. Put me on a schedule, give me a challenge, give me a schedule with a buddy read where we talk about the book, interact about it, and I really do read more if I do. So, if you're ever interested in buddy reading a book with me, please reach out to me. I have a Goodreads shelf saying buddy reads wanted, and pretty much anything that's on my want to read shelf, I'm free for buddy reading, because everything on my want to read shelf is something that I physically own and want to get through. So if there's anything on there that you would like to buddy read, I do want to have a schedule, so we don't just read at our own pace, and I want to actively talk while we're buddy reading, because this is what like fuels my wanting to read quicker and getting it done. So if that's not your type, we might not be the best buddy read partners. But if that's your type of buddy read that you like, reach out to me if you find a book, and let's maybe schedule something for March or April or something. Yeah, I would love it. This is it for today. I'm looking forward to the Booktube Games Readathon. Let's see how that influences my reading habits in February. I hope that I get, so my goal is to get at least 50% of my TBR read. If you haven't seen my 2019 goals, that's my goal. 50% needs to be read. And those like goals that I said, otherwise there's a consequence. So fingers crossed for that. And let's start into February. Let's go!